I think if you had to categorize this time period, this modern period of pandemic, COVID, politics, would be it's a mess. There's anger, frustration, fear, anxiety, depression. I'm not sure when things have been this frantic, this crazy, this intense. Probably during the Great Depression. I remember the aftermath of 9/11. That was horrible. I remember the financial crisis. That was terrible. But something about the last 8 months plus has been different. It's made people angry, vicious, nasty. And it doesn't look like it's going to end anytime soon. What I believe is going to happen when you're looking for a job, or at least I'm hoping what's going to happen, starting to see it and hearing it from hiring managers, HR people, talent acquisition, recruiters, that they're starting to look for people with high emotional intelligence or high emotional IQ. Now, you may say, what are you talking about, Jack? What is that? We always got to give fancy words for things when they don't need it. Really, emotional intelligence is this. In an environment now where people are on edge, frazzled, easy to attack, easy to feel attacked, easy to argue about something, easy to be really mad at someone, it's volatile. Emotional intelligence is having the skills to really understand and control your feelings, control your emotions, control your thoughts. And also how you deal with people. You deal with people in an empathetic manner. You offer help, consideration, sympathy to others. Historically, when companies are hiring, they'll hire these rock stars and these brilliant assholes, brilliant jerks, because, well, hey, this person, we get it. He's the worst, but look at all the revenue he's bringing in. Hey, yeah, I know she drives everyone crazy, but hey, she's the best coder we have, and too bad if she insults your work. We need her. Companies put up with horrible managers. Yeah, this person's a horrible manager, but, and they make excuses. I think we're going to start seeing a shift. We're going to be seeing a shift where leaders, executives are going to say, wait a minute, we can't, especially when people start coming back into the office. And they're going to be afraid, worried, scared about the commute, scared about catching the disease. They're going to say, hey, we need people, instead of the brilliant jerks, let's try to find brilliant people who also aren't loud, they're not yelling, they're caring, they're sensitive. They can work well with others, they can play well with others, they can lead by example. They're not going to go on long rants, they're not going to get into arguments, they're not going to yell at customers, they're not going to fight with coworkers. So if you're that kind of person who's generally like that, this could be a good trend for you. And if you're not, maybe you should work on some of these characteristics, because there's only so long a company, a country could go if everybody's at each other's throats. It just doesn't work. It becomes counterproductive, and we weigh each other down. So I feel, and this is what I'm hearing from job orders I'm getting in, from recruiters I'm speaking with, is that they're starting to want that. They're starting to care a little bit more about the humanity, the sensitivity, the understanding, the compassion. People who have really good interpersonal skills, who could work well with others, who can mentor others, who could diffuse situations that are about to blow up, that can navigate effectively projects where everybody's at their wits' ends and they're ready to attack each other. Now, clearly you also have to have the core experiences for the job and what it requires. But I would suggest start looking into it, because just because they call it emotional IQ, emotional intelligence, I know a lot of people go, oh, what is that? Come on. Put aside the label. That's what they call it. To me, I'm thinking the label is going to make you roll your eyes, I know. But it's more about when you interview or you're at your job to position yourself as the one who could be trusted to get things done, to be trusted to lead a team, because you could be a compassionate leader and encourage and support your staff. You can get that promotion because they know you're the type of person who won't get into fights and belittle their underlings. You won't take advantage of them. You won't steal credit from them. You do just the opposite. You'll give them credit for things that maybe they didn't do, but you want to really showcase them and make them stand out. You're going to take the lead in diversity and inclusion and trying to get a very diverse workplace. And if their issues arise, to work with it. And not to finger point, not to find fault, not to yell at people, but to try to bring everyone together. Because that's usually what happens. If you look back in history, it goes so far from one direction to the other direction. You go from being a very, let's say, repressive, you can't drink prohibition, to everybody partying and drinking and going crazy. You see these back and forths in history where one leads to another. I was reading something about, I forgot what it was, whatever plague it was. And what they said is after it was over, there were years of just, I'll say celebration, but it was more of just a little hedonism, a little just, yeah, finally, because of being under the lockdown of a plague, whatever it was, whatever that was. People were so unhappy and miserable, said they just couldn't wait to say, that's it, now let's just enjoy things to the fullest. That always happens. And then when there's too much excess at times, you'll see too much excess, and then all of a sudden maybe excess in the stock market, everything, and then things come down, and then it's more austerity. So it keeps changing. So we're going to go, I think, from this, we're all angry, and I think you know what I'm saying. Maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit, but come on. Don't you feel if you might say something that may not fit with a certain socially accepted political narrative, you're going to just get pounced upon, so maybe you don't say it? Or maybe you do say it just to piss people off? That's the kind of feeling we're in. Doesn't everybody just talk about how dreadful things are, how bad, how our nation is just tearing each other apart? It can only last so long. Eventually it's going to change. And they're going to want people who get that, who are ahead of the curve. So when you're interviewing, put that out there. Let them see that you are empathetic. You have a high emotional IQ. You have high emotional intelligence. You can lead by example, with compassion, with love, with caring, nurturing, and that'll stand out. It'll be refreshing from the ones who come in there, I can do this, and I'm going to do this, and I think we're going to get a little tiredness of that kind of attitude, and more of, hey, let's get these people in here who could just bring down the temperature, get everyone together, get everyone on the same page without arguing, fighting, yelling at each other. So if you innately have those gifts, that's fantastic, then you're in luck. If not, think about it and maybe get in touch with it more. Number one, I think it'll help you with your anger issues. And number two, it'll make you stand out. You'll be different. So when you interview, they're going to say, I like this person's mindset. I like how they think of things. I like their viewpoint. And that's refreshing. We could use it. Boy, we could use a calm voice around here. We could use somebody who's thoughtful and someone who's going to be encouraging. Yeah. So that could be a little ingredient that could make you stand out in a crowded market. And as I mentioned, if you already possess those skills, great. If not, work on them. And then you could showcase them and you could stand apart. So when your competitors are all saying the same thing and showing how cool they are and strong they are and tough they are and whatever, it's an alternative. But you can still do the job, and you can still do it successfully, and you still have the background experience, but you also offer the ability to bring people together. So give it some thought. What I'm trying to do in these sessions is not your typical traditional career advice, but looking where the puck is going so that you could be in the forefront. And even whenever you're in the forefront, people are going to look at you funny because they like, hey, this is what it is. This is different. I don't like different. I'm afraid of different. But I'm comfortable sharing it with you. And at first, you might agree, you might not agree. That's okay. But it's food for thought because it's all about giving you the tools to succeed and move forward with your career. Some may work for you, some may not. But the goal is to share enough that things will resonate. And you can also take a little bit of everything. You don't have to dive in for everything I'm saying. You can take a little piece of this, that, and put it together and weave it into your whole job search and your whole career advancement. And you find what works best for you. So here's something a little different. I could be wrong. Maybe we keep going on hating each other and being angry and yelling at each other and fighting. I hope not. And I hope if I'm right in that there'll be a cultural shift and a more forgiving environment, which would encourage people who have that high emotional intelligence to really thrive.